Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your July 2023 new moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the YouTube algorithm see my channel, and it helps it grow. So, thank you so very much for doing so. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy that we need to be mindful of during this new moon. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading. This is the Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There is a sense that our temper can be getting the best of us, or somebody's temper around us can just be like very fiery, very ricochet. So be aware of that. There's also a sense here of it's almost like we feel just unsatisfied. It's kind of like, you've eaten something and like afterwards you still feel hungry, but you've already eaten, so you're not going to eat again type of thing. It's like, it's that sort of like hollow, empty feeling. So just be aware of that. There's something here where we just feel dissatisfied. And it may not be that you're not going to eat again. It's like you can't. There's like nothing to nosh on, snack on. And so there's just this feeling of frustration. So be aware of that. It's not a pleasant feeling. And that's the best way I can describe it. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Ooh, this one right here. And this is hope. The only thing left in Pandora's box after she opened it was hope. And that is the main thing that we need to have as human beings, is hope. Hope is so important. When we feel hopeless, when there's no sense of a way forward, that is astoundingly overwhelming. So here, embracing hope, knowing that we're still here, we're still powerful, we're still, that's a very beautiful thing, even if it doesn't sound like it at the moment. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Interesting. Angels and spirit guides. Spirit's like one more. Okay, there we go. So if you came just for a yes or no answer, with the sun reversed, that's a no answer. So just know that. If you just came for a yes or no answer, there's a simple no. So this is going to be a time where, again, that's that unsatisfied feeling. That's just a sense of like, yeah, frustration. The Five of Wands is crowning everything. This is like bickering. This is like, that old, it's kind of like the old married couple, right? That always bickers, always bickers. So here, just know that energy is coming forward. And I'm just like crinkling my nose at it because there's a sense of like, I don't want this, but it's just a sense of like just bickering. So just be aware of that. Like other people's dramas, but this is little things. These are little things. It's like nitpicky, nitpicky, nitpicky. And we can be very nitpicky during this time. So it can also be like look inward at us. We can be frustrated because we can feel like everybody else is super nitpicky too. But if we stop and we look, we might be very nitpicky. And so then people are like, kind of picking back at us. So just be aware of that during this time because it can really kind of calm everything down once we say, you know what? It's just pettiness. Like, because this card is just petty. The Five of Wands is just a petty card. And so if we look at it that way and it's like, okay, there's just pettiness here. And I'm not going to be a part of that. That's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful realization. Some people never come to that their whole entire lives. With the Empress reverse, this is very interesting. So this new moon on the 17th of July is in Cancer. It's at 24 degrees, 56 seconds of Cancer. And it is a very powerful new moon. And a lot of people have been getting either the Empress or the High Priestess reverse. And there's almost a rejection of like the mothering energy. And that's interesting because Cancer is the sign of motherhood, of mothering. And what's interesting of that is I was listening to this rabbi who was talking about the zodiacs, which I just think is super cool. And he said, remember that Cancer represents the crab. He says, but when we think of Cancer, that's not the first thing that comes in our modern mind. It's the disease. So it's scary, it's overwhelming. But the crab has its skeleton, its exoskeleton on the outside of its body. And so when a crab grows, it's painful and it's scary. And so the crab, Cancer, even though it is this extremely sensitive and kind and empathetic and nurturing sign, it is about growth and transformation that is painful. And if we look at that in a human sense, motherhood very much embodies that. It's the transformation of the body, a painful, birthing forward of things. And it's painful but powerful. Just as the growing of the crab, which it sounds like very interesting things to be comparing to each other, is painful but powerful. We don't want to have any more responsibilities put on us. Actually, a lot of people, a lot of signs right now are like, I'm done. I'm done with the responsibilities being put on my shoulders, the mothering, the taking care of everything. So just knowing that and knowing that you're not alone, that's a really nice thing. That's a really nice thing. Virgo, it's not something to make you feel like a monster, to make you feel like, oh, I'm just being completely ungrateful or, judgmental or whatever. No, you can be frustrated. You can be overwhelmed. You can feel like there's too much on your shoulders. A lot of people are feeling that way right now, even though this is the sign where the moon and the sun are both in a very loving, very nurturing, very mothering sign. We've had a bit of enough. And just being open and honest with ourselves is a good thing. Now, Pluto has squared the nodal axis. The node actually moves backwards, so from 29 degrees to 0, which I think is super cool. And on the 17th of July, our collective destiny and our collective karma changes. And that's a big deal. Excuse me. That is a very big deal. So we have the North Node shifting from Taurus to Aries. We have the South Node shifting from Scorpio to Libra. These are sister signs. Aries and Libra are sister signs. We're moving away from the sister signs of Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. And remember, the North Node in astrology is seen as the head of the dragon. The South Node is as the tail. And so this is going to be a time where we're moving from being people pleasers to being more confident, more authoritative within our own lives. But there's also a sense of I'm moving forward in love. I'm moving forward in compassion, but it's not like the romantic love, the only love for one person. It's a sense of a love for the collective, a love that guides us forward. Now, this also marks the cardinal grand cross, which is 29 degrees in Capricorn, 29 degrees Aries, equally 29 degrees in Libra, and 25 degrees in Cancer. This is an extremely powerful configuration, which moves us towards action. We are going to be very moved towards action during this time, taking authority of our existence. That's a very powerful thing. We're taking our destiny in our own hands. And that's going to be astoundingly powerful for us, Virgo. Jupiter is squared Mercury, which brings, visionary energy forward. We can see that. We walk between two worlds. And we're going to do so quite powerfully. And yet we're going to find it much more easier at night to see than we're going to find it during the day. So just know that about yourself during this time. Neptune is trine the sun and the moon, meaning that everything has to have a deeper meaning to it. And we could be fighting things actually having a deeper meaning to them, Virgo, for one reason or another. So, and especially if Pisces is within your chart, your Pisces is going to be very drawn towards everything having a deeper meaning. And Virgo, you can want things to be a lot more straightforward, a lot more what you see is what you get type of thing. So we're wanting to look at everything through the spiritual context of Neptune. And this can be a little bit tricky. So just know that about ourselves. The Five of Wands, pettiness. This is just pettiness. This is a real sense of gossip. This is getting pulled into, other people's drama. This is taking things too personally, and it's getting pulled into pettiness. So just be aware of this. We can find that because we're pulled into other people's pettiness, we become more petty, we become more frustrated, and it's just like we can be a little bit more aggressive, like a little bit more, not aggressive. So yeah, snippy. It's snippy. It's just snippy. It's like, it's a little bit more snippy. The Three of Wands. We are seeing new opportunities come our way. Ships are coming in, ships are going out. There are new opportunities coming, there's new insight coming. We're looking at things in a different way. Our passion is being elevated during this time. There's a sense of, oh, I could do this or maybe this, and questioning. That visionary energy is very strong around us. Well, that makes sense. Okay, I was like, why is it so strong around you, Virgo? That's because you're ruled by Mercury, right? You and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. So Jupiter enhances whatever it is next to, right? It is the great enhancer. So we are very enhanced during this time, questioning, seeing new things, movement. Remember, Mercury is the god of messages, movement. So we're going to see ourselves very much moving forward in things, very wanting to move very, very quickly, that mercurial nature. But we can go from one mood extreme to another. So also just be mindful about that. But this is a time where we really see ourselves moving forward, moving in passion, moving towards what we want. Take advantage of that. That's going to be something that's rather exciting. The hangman, we're seeing things differently. We're seeing things differently. And in this depiction of the hangman, it's being transported into the world of the Fae, the fairies. So the spirit world. So there's a sense here of I'm walking in the realm of the now, right? Of our cognitive world, and I'm walking in the world of spirit. And this very much calls to Neptune, but we can find this to be very overwhelming because we can see two sides to everything. We can look at things and see the complexity and things that should be rather straightforward and simple. We're also just looking at everything differently, and it can really make us question, okay, well, that was supposed to be an easy move forward. Like that was supposed to be easy. Why isn't it easy? It's because we're looking at things so differently, and we're going to need to step back and take it all in. Now, with the sun reversed, there's a sense of like, no, not right now. So if there's something that you're really pushing for, wait till after the new moon, because there's a sense here of like, no, not right now. Let this change wash over you. This destiny, karmic change, let it wash over you. Let it settle within you. Because this is going to be a time where things that are going pretty darn smooth, like they start to get hiccups in them. They start to get little, like, speed bumps. And you're like, oh man, what the heck is going on here? It's not long lasting. It's not going to be, but it's going to be annoying. So just remember, just be aware of that. And just know that, like, okay, things that usually you don't have to think about, you don't have to worry about, they usually take care of themselves, they're going to need a little bit more attention. People who usually, very self sufficient, they need more attention. So just be aware of this. It moves us to the Empress reversed. And this is, again, that energy of, I don't want to be mothering things, I don't want to be taking care of everything. And that's okay. Being open and honest with ourselves is okay. We can still do it anyway, and it might be grudgingly, it might not be grudgingly. We might say to ourselves, wow, okay, I'm in kind of a crummy mood. I accept that. I honor that within myself. I'm going to be kinder, gentler, give myself some downtime, if we can. But even if we can't, like just carving out a little bit of downtime quiet time for yourself, Virgo, is going to be so important. There needs to be a connection with the heart chakra, all right? But also with the liver energy in Qigong. The liver is where a lot of anger is held. So here, we're going to be releasing or needing to release a lot of anger that we've kept in our hearts. We just have. And we've kind of pushed it down, and this is going to be a time where we need to let it out. We need to let certain things go. And it brings us to the Ace of Wands. This is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift of passion, of creativity, of insight, of ideas. There's a sense of new horizons. We're going to see with this, again, this karmic shift, we're going to see new ideas opening up to our destiny. We're going to see like light bulb moments coming. It's like, oh, wow, I could do this. And oh, wow, what about this? And we're going to start putting things together in a way that is really quite surprising. This is passion. This is creativity. This is insight. This is getting excited. Now, we can use this energy during this time and have it be a bit of a weapon. Okay. So we need to be very mindful that this passion can get kind of tied up with frustration. We need to focus it around the Three of Wands, new ideas, new opportunities, new insights. So just be aware of that. Let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And ooh. And spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Okay. So what's really interesting here is that the moon is telling us we need to have clearer boundaries with things. With the Five of Wands, we need to have clearer boundaries. And in those clearer boundaries, an end of a tough cycle approaches. There's clarity, there's insight, there's like, oh, okay. Through these clearer boundaries, through the sense of this is what I'm doing, this is what needs to be done, this is how I'm moving forward. I'm an end of a tough cycle, an end of a frustrating period comes. Hold to your vision, hold to what you want, and embrace self-love. Embrace looking at yourself and loving you. You'll be surprised. Like if you just start saying, I love myself, and you could be lying to yourself. You could be thinking, oh my gosh, this is such nonsense. And smile, smile. Smiling is so important. I know that sounds super funny. And I would read things and hear things about people saying, oh, smiling is so important. It tricks your brain into thinking you're happy. You know, it increases serotonin levels. It didn't make me do it. I'm a pretty happy person and I smile a lot, but life got hard. And I realized I stopped smiling. And I was talking to a Qigong master and he said, smile. And I was like, oh, why? And he said, well, you have meridian points in your jaw that are for your liver. And you have meridian points in your lips that are for your pancreas. And your pancreas is where fear is held. And your liver is where anger is held. So when you smile, you're actually activating those meridian points that relieve fear and anger. I started smiling. He started smiling. I was like, oh, okay. And he got me to start smiling again. And I didn't realize I had stopped. I didn't. But it hurt my face. So smile, smile. Because you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for everybody else. And you can feel like a fool, right? You feel like, oh wow, I'm smiling and things are so intense. Or people are going to think, you know, I'm not taking things seriously. No, smile. Because you get to be in love with yourself. You get to be in love with your life. Even if it's not what you want right now, even if it's frustrating, by releasing the anger, by releasing the fear, all of a sudden things can become, and things do become, a lot more manageable. And we can start seeing ourselves move forward, whereas before we couldn't because it was too much. It was too overwhelming. A new start is coming. Realization. What we feel locked away, right? We're not realizing that we're the key. Okay, these are reversed. A new start is coming and realization. Okay, we're not realizing that we're the key to so much. And we're not seeing this new moon, this new karmic start, as a new start is coming. We're looking at things and thinking, oh my gosh, everything has just been turned on its head. How am I going to make this work? How am I going to move this forward? So just be aware of that. That instead of seeing this as a gift, we're like, oh man, now what? Like now I have to get used to these rules. Now I have to do this or that. Step back, smile, breathe. And then you will calmly start to move forward. It moves us then to it says, take time to breathe out and acceptance. We're not doing that. These are reversed. So take time to breathe out. We're not. We can actually find that we're holding our breath quite a lot and we're not accepting. We're not accepting ourselves. We're not accepting things around us. We're looking at things and we're trying to make no's into yeses. It's like, well, if I just push hard enough, I can get that no to turn into a yes. Maybe there are people who do that, and we've all done that in our lives. Think of a relationship where the person wasn't that into you, but you persisted, right? Was it a good relationship? Maybe some would say yes, it was, but most aren't. Most it's like, wow, I should have left this alone. Here, it's the same thing. Or like, you try with a job, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to be the right fit. But you knew when you walked in, it was like, oh, this isn't right for me. But you were going to do it. And usually it doesn't turn into something that's right for you. So here, it's looking at things, it's taking a breath out, it's giving yourself a break, it's giving yourself time, and it's becoming accepting of who you are, of your strengths, of your talents, but also of your weaknesses, of things that you're just not good at. Everybody isn't good at everything, and that's okay. It moves us to nothing is yet set in stone, and yet we feel like it is. I get that. I get that, especially with, taking care of things, mothering. And some of us can be mad at this. We can be like, Dane, I want to be a mother. I want to take care of things. This is my goal. It's so hard for me. How dare you say this? That could be where we're at right now. We have so much fear, so much anger around this. It's a roadblock. We're thinking things are set in stone. Once we embrace peace, which again, it sounds ridiculous, but once we say, you know what? I'm not in control of this world. I'm not. I'm going to embrace peace of me. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to accept myself. Nothing is set in stone. And there's a freedom in my soul once I realize this. Because we're counting a fail that hasn't happened yet. So be aware of that. And it moves us to work through our fear. But we have to focus. Focus on opening up the third eye. Focus on opening up, the energy, like picture violet light around the third eye. That's the energy of the third eye. Opening up. And it's called, what is it called? The upper dawn? Yeah, in Qigong. And it's by the pineal gland. And there's a sense of I'm opening up my spiritual self. I'm awakening. I'm becoming that butterfly. But I don't know if I said this in the beginning when talking about the astrology of it. When I was listening to that rabbi, he said that there's a story of a man and a butterfly. He said this man was so full of compassion that he saw a butterfly struggling to come out of its cocoon. And so, excuse me. And so he got a pair of scissors and he said, oh no, don't struggle. I'll cut you out of the cocoon. And he did. But what he didn't know is by cutting the butterfly out of the cocoon, the pressure that was needed to make the butterfly's wings work wasn't there. And so the butterfly never took flight. We can be thinking, without these struggles, everything would be so much easier, right? I would get to where I'm supposed to be. Right here, over the third eye, these struggles are helping you see much more clearly what you need, the way that you're connecting with others. I know some people have been through horrific things. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about horror, things that you hear, people say to be what they've been through. And I think it makes you question God, right? It makes you question. It's like, how could somebody go through that? This is going to be a time where we start to see that I am flying, even though it has been hard. We're not letting people steal our flight, steal our joy, steal away us. It doesn't mean that there has to be a reason to it. It doesn't even mean that it had to be right. Okay? But this is going to be a time where we are seeing the pain that we are through, and we're not letting it break our wings. We're not. So here we're working through the fear. And the fear is, can I fly? Can I take flight? Can I go after what I want in my life? Because the Ace of Wands is saying, yes, you can. Absolutely. Positively, you can. It moves. Oh, and then we have assessing reverse. Assessing reverse is that we're not stepping back and we're not looking at the bigger picture. The moon is telling us, step back and look at the bigger picture, or letting us know, hey, we're having a bit of trouble here, stepping back, looking at the bigger picture, seeing what we really want. We're seeing the little bits, but we're not seeing the big picture of where we want to go and what we want to be. Our subconscious spirit message is rebirth reversed. This is our warning message, right? This is what to be mindful of. This is to be mindful that we're finding the rebirth of ourselves, the transformation, the rising like the phoenix from the ashes to be difficult. And again, connecting with that sacred feminine energy is difficult for us. So understanding that, accepting that, and saying, okay, and then making it a priority to connect with our sacred feminine. Also our sacred masculine if we feel like we're out of balance, connecting with both and seeing why the sacred feminine right now is overwhelming for us, not only as an individual, as a Virgo, but also it's overwhelming as a world right now. And that I find to be astoundingly interesting. Our subconscious tarot message is faith. Not tarot message, I'm sorry. This is spirit message. It's faith. Having faith. Looking at things and letting our faith guide us forward. However, our faith, is composed in this life, whether it be through orthodoxy, whether it be through, esoterica, it doesn't really matter. But letting faith guide us forward and knowing that, through the spiritual context of Neptune, with Neptune trying the sun and the moon, faith, spirituality, mysticism, it's important. It's important. And however that language is interpreted by your soul and for yourself at this moment of your existence, it's time to embrace it. Our subconscious tarot message is the Three of Swords reversed. We're releasing heartbreak, pain, and disappointment, anger, upset, feeling overwhelmed. There are three major, and I'm holding two fingers up there. There are three major heartbreaks that we are releasing. Three major things that have kept us small, that have kept us in the corner, that have kept us quiet, that we are releasing and we are freeing ourselves. And that is amazing. It's not only we are freeing ourselves, but Spirit is giving us the opportunity to spread our wings. Our subconscious tarot message is emotions are running high. They most definitely are. And we're having a bit of difficulty trusting this moon, trusting the process, trusting the way forward, trusting what we want. We know emotions are running high. And this is a time where Spirit is saying to us, do not let the emotions overpower you. Do not let the chaos of everything overpower you. It's time to trust. Even though right now, trust, it's astoundingly hard. And that's okay. It's scary. And that's okay. We can be scared. We can be. We can be overwhelmed. We're allowed to be human. We don't have to be perfect. Some of us are trying to chase perfection, whatever that is in our minds. And we're always seeming to fall short because we're meant to be us. Warts and all, doubts, fears, chaos, and all. So be aware of that. All right. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time, of this moon, and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless. And have a blessed moon. Bye.